Okay, now we're going to start getting into automation. How do we automatically get our ingredients from the grocery store into Domo, into our kitchen? This is where we really start to elevate our analytics practice and our supply chain of data because we don't want to do this manually every day, every week, every month, have to memorize that. So we're going to use Domo's automation to really, really help us out. It's like a subscription if you get groceries, okay? I'm going to go to data at the top and I'm going to hit this little cloud icon connectors, and we are going to type in email. This one has saved me multiple times. We're going to go to email connector. So let's say you're trying to get a data set into Domo and there isn't a connector available, but your data source that you're trying to use does have an automated report that can be sent as a CSV, scheduled, something like that, every day, every week, every month, every quarter. We can use this automation tool, this email connector. In addition, let's say you're using another vendor and they have to manually email out whatever, your CSV reports. They can send it to this email, and this can make life much, much easier for you. So what happens is when I click email connector, I generate this email, and Domo is going to generate this. And this is going to be a new email every time you use the email connector. So we're going to hit copy. Okay. Now we can say in here, do I want this to be, am I looking for an email attachment? Because we're going to send an email with our CSV file to this email address here. We're saying, am I looking for an email attachment? Am I looking to download directly from a link in the email? Or am I looking to download a link from a page? Now there is a caveat. If a link is usually sent instead of an attachment, and that link brings you to a page that requires you to log in, this will not work because Domo cannot log in on your behalf. However, if it is just a link that you can just click and pull the data automatically, like Google Ads does this with a link to a page where you just download, you don't need to log in, you're fine, no problem. Okay, but if you need to log in, Domo is not going to be able to log in for you. We're going to just say email attachment. We're going to just pick that one. Then this is super important. It's going to ask you what type of file am I looking for? A CSV, an XLS, an XLSX. What we're going to say CSV. This has to be exactly the same. So if you are sending a CSV file, it has to be listed as a CSV file. Domo will, if it sees a different version type, will reject that file. Okay, so you have to make sure it's exactly the same. Okay, and here, this is asking you, is there a specific email address I'm looking to get this data from? Is there a specific subject line, a specific thing in the body that I'm looking for, a specific attachment name? I think it's best practice to just make this easy for yourself. And we're going to say none all the way down, meaning in all caps, by the way, because if I hover over this little question mark, you can see that if you write none, I don't care where it's coming from. I have this joke that I say, it's like the Backstreet Boys. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from, what you did, as long as you have an email attachment within the correct format. Okay. This show advanced option right here is what you can say is you could say, hey, I want you to start on row 2 or row 3 or row 4 of the attached file. We're not going to do that for now. Don't worry about it. You can also say skip the footer row. Why would you do this? Because sometimes you get email reports where there's a total at the bottom and we don't want that to come through. Let's pretend we don't want that. But for now, we're going to ignore all of this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. Okay, so copy, next. And this is going to ask you, do you want to replace the file every time or do you want to append? And append means add on to it. So let's say you get a file on January 1st. Next day, you get a file for January 2nd. If you pick replace, January 2nd is going to erase all of January 1st and just live there. If you say append, you have January 1st, then 2nd comes in, the next day, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, goes on to infinity. Okay. Pros and cons about what you want, but you can think about it that way. Okay, we're going to just say replace for this one. And because we're imagining we're getting a full file every single time, we want the latest and greatest data. So we're going to say replace. Okay, next we have to put in our naming conventions. Again, my favorite thing, organization, Domo learning, pipe source, email, pipe sample, marketing, data. Okay, save and run. Okay, I can share it. I'm going to go tag it, Domo Learning, and this one I'm going to say email. Save. Okay, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. We haven't done anything yet. We need to send an email now to this email address. So I am going to do it first. I'm going to open up my email. And you can see it's a very standard email. And all we need to do is in the to part for recipients, paste in the email address that we wanted to go to. And we just need to now upload or attach our file, which was this one. That's it. We do not need to do anything else. Remember, we said we don't care about the email it's coming from. We don't care about the subject line. We don't care if anything's in the body, the name. We're just going to send it and you're going to hit send. Okay, now that we've sent the email, you might have to wait a little bit. Just practice patience. It will come through. And look, mine came in just a second ago. So it might take a little time because that attachment has to go all the way through the interwebs, come back down into your data set. But there we go. We have it. If I hit data, I can see my entire data set again. Okay. Now, this email one, as I have mentioned, has helped me out multiple times where if there's not a connector that exists in Domo and I don't have an API way to go do it and what's all this other stuff, this is a very, very simple one to use where you just get an email sent to you and you can make a data set in Domo. This is so cool. It's been so useful. And this is another really good tool to know how to use to get your groceries into your kitchen. All right, next one.